Jim Norton, comedian, Jersey boy, at Jim Norton is his Twitter handle. Third consecutive Epic special, Contextually Inadequate. That premieres tonight in Boston?
Well, I shot it in Boston, yeah.
Okay, so it's in Boston at 10 Eastern, so is where he shot it. So you can watch this tonight on Epics.
Yeah, competing with the Bruce Jenner interview, which is great. That's kind of what you want to compete with, an American icon changing sexes.
How would that interview go, though, if you have Bruce Jenner? We were talking about this, that people don't realize how big Bruce Jenner was back in the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
He was one of the biggest names on the planet. And now, is there a sports element, in all seriousness, to Bruce Jenner? He's 60 years of age, I think, and now doing this. I don't know if there's a sports angle to it, but imagine if he did this around the time he won his gold medal. How big that story would be.
I know, and how much more fun Wheaties would have been to eat with him on the front. You know, the sports angle, the only angle is, he said, I think, that it was an overcompensation for, feeling like a girl in a boy's body. So that's why maybe that whole thing propelled him through being a sports figure. So maybe that would be the angle on it. But it is fascinating, I mean, to watch this happen. Because usually, people who are trans are much younger and they go through the surgery younger. Yeah. But to see an American iconic male athletic, the Olympian decathlon winner go through it, this is the only time this will happen. So it's always good to have your comedy special competing with that.
Well, there'd be more laughs with you, I think, right?
Yes. So you watch for the first hour, Bruce, you get turned on, then you come to me and you relax a little bit. That's it.
What do people say when they see you?
It depends on the type of humor they like. If they like it aggressive or they like what I do, they usually enjoy it because it's topical.
But if they see you on the street?
They're probably not very visually pleased. I mean, they'll say hello.
But do you get people who quote your lines back to you?
Yeah, or the radio show, because I've done radio for so many years. It's usually radio stuff. Occasionally it'll be stand-up, but it's usually something on the radio. They'll tell me like, oh, you got me through some hard times, and they'll just describe some horrible cancer ordeal, and you're like, oh, good, I'm appreciate you sharing that with me.
You had, Pacquiao on the show?
We've had Mayweather and Pacquiao, but Pacquiao doesn't speak very good English. I tried to get him to sing Sometimes When We Touch, because he sang that in his documentary, and it was really kind of creepy, but he didn't want to play along at all. I think he thought I was making fun of him.
What? Oh, okay, I can understand it. What about Floyd?
Floyd was, interesting, but he had a giant entourage with him, and he didn't take his sunglasses off. It was like interviewing a rapper. I think he was tired. He didn't want to do morning press. He wasn't bad, but Tyson's one of my favorite guys to interview because he's so open. There's nothing Mike Tyson will say, don't ask me about. He'll talk about anything, and on radio, that's what you want. Athletes a lot of times don't want to open up unless they're fighters. Fighters are usually, I guess they're used to talking smack to each other. But baseball players I've always had a difficult time with, and football players. But
you also, I think, you have to compete with an athlete. I find that they want to be competitive, so you have to earn their answer. And so I go after them and compete with them. And John McEnroe taught me that years ago, where he said, keep asking questions. He thought we were competing, that I was trying to get something out of him, and he wouldn't give it up until I asked the right question. So I viewed interviewing that way, that you have something, now it's my job to get it out of you, whether you want to give it to me or not.
What a great point. This is how dumb I am. They come in as the alpha male, and I would just curl up like the female chimp and lay on the ground and hope they didn't hurt me. That's exactly what it is, because I think they look at it like it's a back and forth. And even when you're asking a question that doesn't have any bad intention, a lot of times they feel like you are trying to get something, even when you're not, when you're just asking. So they tend to, Terrell Owens was like that, very guarded. And I'm like, we're not trying to be jerks. We're just asking you questions. I mean, how much do you think we can ask about the game? I want to know about your personal life, and they don't want to talk about it.
Well, that's what we try to do differently on this show. Is I don't want to know the X's and O's as much as I want to know what went behind the planning of the X's and O's. That I'm trying to get you to tell me a story. I'm trying to forget. Let's kind of suspend this me against you on a radio show in an interview where now we just talk.
Right.
And if you can get them to suspend that, then you have a chance with them, because athletes are interviewed more than anybody when you think about it. A musician you may not get a chance to talk to. An actor you may see once every 6 months. Politicians aren't always there for you to ask questions. Athletes, LeBron James is in Boston. So before the game or after the game, if I'm a member of the media, I can talk to him.
Right.
Every athlete, they're available. A football player, after a game, before a game, you're able to have access to them. So they've heard every question. The question is, how good are your questions to get a good answer out of them?
Right. So they're very savvy. I think they also probably get irritated faster, which why there really is nothing better than like when managers or whatever. Do you ever see the Hal McRae clip when he's just flipping out and throwing things all over the office? There's nothing better than a manager gone crazy because they can't take the same question or the question that they don't want to be asked. But yeah, they are very good at being interviewed, or they get testy very, very quickly. But like actors are the same thing. A lot of times they don't want, like Robert Downey just walked off an interview.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I was disappointed in that. I'm like, because maybe I just read that reporter wrong. He looked a little creepy, but those are legit questions. I mean, how many times can you talk about Iron Man? He's not even a real person,
Wait. As a spoiler, Iron Man is not a real person?
I apologize. I saw a preview, and I should not have said that. That slipped out.
Okay.
Tony Stark's a real person.
Okay.
Iron Man is not.
Okay.
I should have. You're right. That was incorrect of me to say.
How much sports do you include in your act?
Very little. Unless I have a story, like, I'll talk